Hi there, my name is Kevin Smith and I am the President, Head Coach and Chief Executive Running Officer for a company here in Toronto called Marathon Dynamics that for over 20 years has been helping runners improve through bringing out the best in them in mind, in body and in spirit. As part of our series on 7 habits of highly effective runners, we're at the end of that presentation dealing with a few grab bag items that we threw in there which are important and certainly as together can make a lot of difference, but each one of themselves provides a little bit more of it's a one piece of the puzzle to that striving to be the perfect runner, if you will, if you have the time, the motivation, and the wherewithal to go after it. And these are the 5th, the 6th, the 7th habits, and I threw in an 8th as a bonus. Sleep. Very quickly, we all know it's important. We see articles in the paper almost weekly, every couple of weeks, about how we as a society are not getting enough and what it's costing us, what it's doing to us, and how much better things would be if we did get more sleep. That's for normal, regular human life. We should all get more. Athletes, people that are asking more of their bodies, okay, on a regular basis, almost daily in many cases, it stands to reason, it should be no great surprise, we need more. So if the average human not doing intense running and half marathons and marathons needs 8 hours, then we are probably needing 9 hours of sleep. Hands up, a show of hands. How many people get 9 hours a night? I don't see too many hands. I need about 2 or 3 nights sometimes to get that, as many know. This is a do as I say, not as I do. I'm guilty on this one. I need to improve, and I will at some point. But we all have, yes, we all have other competing obligations and stresses and aspects of our life that whittle away that sleep. So it's probably unrealistic for us to get 9 hours. It might even be unrealistic for us to even get 8 hours on a regular basis. Okay, so in the real world, we'll call it, in most of our lives, we have to make some decisions. And a smart 80-20 kind of get, bang for your buck, if you will, is to look for more sleep where you get the most benefit out of it. And that is, if you weren't aware, after, not before your big workouts. So on those 3 times a week in our type of approach with running, where you have your big 3 run workouts, try as best you can, even if it means skimping on other nights, to give yourself more sleep relative to whatever your normal is, even if it's 5 or 6 hours. Try and get the 7th hour, okay, or the 8th if you normally get 7. Try and get more on the sleeps after your big workouts, because that's when the magic happens. It's not being super rested and ready to go and do it, and then, well, you got it in, so I got the workout in, so I'm fitter. We feel that sometimes. Oh, that was an amazing workout. I am definitely going to be fitter now that I've done that workout. But that's like part A of it's like a coupling. You need to then sleep to garner the full benefit of that workout. Without that, you've done half the battle, and you're going to throw it away if you don't sleep. So enough or as much as you can. So try and get an extra hour than you normally do, whatever that means to you, on your after the nights of your, after you've done your big 3 run workouts. Make sense? That's the best cheat. That's the running life hack for that one. The second one of these 4 is hydration. And a sneaky one. Everybody knows they should be hydrated, especially when we run, especially when it's very hot outside. But we don't always drink. And again, I'm guilty of that. I'm always trying to remind myself to drink more because I don't naturally. So that's one area that I certainly can improve on. And I think probably I have some company. There are those of us that don't drink a lot of just straight water on top of our regular other fluids that we might intake during the day. Try, the gold standard would be 5 extra glasses, we'll say. We won't get too specific about what a glass is, but a good size one. Try for 5 extra glasses that you otherwise wouldn't have, that aren't necessarily part of your meal, and see how far you get. Good idea is 1 right in the way. Get 1 in the bank right away when you wake up. Get 1 right in the bank before you go to bed. There's 2. You have 3 others to fit in the day. Whether it's always getting a glass with whatever your 3 meals, you're done. If that works for you, great. If that doesn't, then it's a snack drink. You drink a water with a snack at some other point in the day. And you've got 4 or 5 extra big glasses of water, and that suffuses the tissue. It's good for the mind too, by the way, but it also works to our advantage for suffusing the body, our tissues for working muscles. Okay, second last of the presentation is sneaky speed, I've termed it here, and that is looking for very time-effective ways to remind the body more frequently during the week that you can run fast, and you do run fast, and you will run fast. Because if you only visit faster than race pace running once a week, when you do, say, your intense running, your intensity running, if that's it, the only time in 7 days, and sometimes you might miss a workout here and there, who knows, so you could go 10 to 14 days sometimes without running faster than the pace you plan to race at. The benefit seeps away if you don't remind the body that it needs to do this, okay? So this is your quick kind of, again, like a runner life hack, way to hold on to the speed you have. And even sometimes neurologically open up the pathways for more if you do this repeatedly throughout the week. Okay, so we all often, most of us, do striders, which, by the way, for those uninitiated, are pretty simple, 100+ meter gentle accelerations where you're focused on your form, you're accelerating at least your cadence, if not your actual speed, turning on the effort a little more at the end, never sprinting, but you're moving quickly, or you're moving as quickly as you can relaxedly by the end, you know, just that one gear back. So that's a strider. We do them before intensity workouts, tempo workouts, hill workouts, and interval workouts. So there's a few. Might do 3, 4, maybe 5 of them before a workout, but you need to do more. So after your other runs is the other time, not necessarily before, because you only do that when you're running really fast, but after you've run, by definition, you're warmed up because you've just done a run, almost of any kind. You're ready to do them, so fit them in right at the end. Up to you how you work that. It could be you finish your run, you stretch, you catch your breath, and then before you really get recovered, right out in front of your neighborhood or your house or wherever you run, you do the striders, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Get them done. Or for those that, once I stop, I'm stopped. I don't think I could start again. If you're in that camp, know yourself well, or find that out as you try, then as soon as you get to 1K, you're past 1K, for most of us that think in Ks, for example. Once you're 1K to go in the run, now is your time to fit in 2, 3, 4 striders. Okay? And again, just 100, 150 meters. Most of us, that's less than 30 seconds for sure, or around there. Pick it up. See where, get that, rev the engine neurologically. Remind the body that it runs fast. It's amazing how, especially after a long run, where often we're really tired, and we're holding back at the beginning, and then maybe we're not so much holding back, but we're running slow at the end of long runs. And if that's what we leave our body at, if that's the last thing the body does, it remembers that. So when you start your next run, you feel laggardly, slow, heavy, just like you did. There's a psychological principle called primacy and recency, or when we remember things, we forget things in the middle sometimes, but we always often remember the first and last. And the body's the same way with physical memory. So it stands to reason, would you want to wait for the next couple of days before you run again? What memory do you want to implant? You want to leave the tired, beaten up end of a 27K long run, or you want those sprightly 100-meter sprints, spritzy little striders. That's what the body remembers. That's where it starts the next time. So sneaky speed is a good idea. So try for, the gold standard is 20. You don't often maybe hit it, but you'd be surprised if you add them up. You get a few in after your OMP. I do something called hill charges on some runs where I just run out for a few K, and then I'll pick a hill, a short hill, maybe it's 20 seconds at most, where I just kind of blast up quickly and relax down. Do that 4, 5, 7, 8 times, and then finish my run. There you go. That's another 7 or 8 striders on your week right there. Okay, so any short burst counts for that. And the last thing for the whole presentation was a little reminder to, I call it TNT, trail and treadmill. Mix things up. Don't always, especially don't run always on pavement and concrete. It's okay to run on them every week, a couple of times a week perhaps, maybe even a little more, but always try and mix it up and throw some other surface in there, be it grass, wood chip trail, dirt path, or get over onto the treadmill. Easier in the winter perhaps, mentally for most of us, but even in the summers, sometimes in heat waves and things, it makes sense to try and mix it up because the treadmills are so much softer than the pavement and the concrete, and the trails are obviously much softer. So just moving it around, mixing it around, really reduces your chances of getting hurt or injury. And also, finally, it's not on the board, but a good idea is to mix your shoes around too. I don't mean different ones on different feet. Keep them matched, but run in a couple of pairs at the same time, say within the same season, even 2 or 3 pairs. Okay, for different types of workouts is a great way to segment them, because then you're always moving. Inevitably, you're moving your different stress points around on your foot. Every pair will affect your foot a little differently. So even if you like a pair of shoe that works for you, it has common stress points that you're always running in, if you always run in those shoes only. This way, you move them around, so it just reduces your chance of getting hurt. Okay? So those are our top 7 habits of highly effective Dynamo runners. And a bonus 8th snuck in there at the end. Thank you very much for your attention and for coming tonight. And we'll wrap things up right there.